So this is your outdoor planter tutorial, and what you'll need is your greens. You can do 2 outdoor planters with 1 bundle of pine, 1 bundle of silver fir, and 1 bundle of cedar. I also added a couple extra things that I want to throw into my planter, like some birch poles and some branches and some magnolia tips. The first thing we're going to do is just fill up your bucket with potting mix.
There you go.
All right. Now that I got my bucket full of potting mix, you can also use compost, which is really great because you can throw the compost back into your garden in the spring. I'm going to add in my branches just to figure out where I want things to line up. So for me personally, I'm going to put my branches so that they're at the back of the pot. But you could build a pot where you have your branches in the middle and it's flatter around. The biggest thing is don't be afraid to play with it and change it as you go. It's not frozen in yet, so you can pretty much adjust and do whatever you need to do. I'm going to save my little branches for later. Next up, we're going to start with cutting our elastics off the bottom so we can start to play with our greens. Now it may not look like a lot, but your greens can give you a lot of options. So what I would recommend doing is taking like your silver fir to start with, because it gives you your structure, and actually trimming it in half. So I want to use like a larger part at the back, but I'm going to actually cut this bottom part off, but I'll use that along the front. So I'm just going to give that a snip, and you could use the silver side or you could use the green side. And they will relax after you build with them, so they might kind of bend forward at first, but that's okay. They'll relax and start to even out a bit more. And I think I'll find a smaller piece here. Cut another one here. So now I have 2 lovely pieces for the front. I've got 2 lovely pieces at the back now. And again, I will probably like move these around a little bit as we go, just to, so you can just shove them in and out wherever you want. So these pieces that I cut, I've got now these little bits, but I don't want them to go to waste, and I want them to still be part of my structure. So I'm going to put them in on the sides just to add a little bit of extra bulk. You can use quite a small pot, even if you're thinking about putting it in a large one, because the greens will make the pot expand quite a lot. So I'm going to save these for later. And next up, I'm going to use my cedar. And again, the cedar is so large that we can cut it into many pieces. So we're just going to add layers now. And I might even tuck him a little bit back. And we're adding lots of different texture, which is really great. You can see how this can do 2 planters, because I'm going to only use probably 1 piece of cedar in this area. It's such a large chunk, and each of the leaflets are so big, they're like a chunk on its own. You can see it already coming together quite a lot just by adding in the different textures and different sizes that we've got. And I'm still only just using the first piece. I'm going to cut these off and put them around the base. And there is a front and back with cedar. The back side has more scales, you'll notice more white, and the front has more green. Okay, I'm already feeling like this is filling up quite a lot, so I'm going to move on, and I'm going to keep the rest of my cedar in a pile over here, and I'm going to throw in a bit of my fancy pine. I always call pine the fancy part of anything. So we're going to chunk it down again. Maybe I'll start with my lower branches here and cut it. And then I'm going to poke it in so that it kind of has a bit of a movement forwards instead of the other way. You could use it any way that you would like to. And we're kind of, again, filling in holes and just adding a little bit of texture. We want texture with our planters. One thing we learned from Paul, who works at the Toronto Botanical Gardens, is that you never want your cut pieces showing. Never, he says. Never allow your cut pieces to show. So as you can see, you could go a lot wider. I could add in more cedar on the sides or another piece of fir to make it really wide. With my sticks, they're really quite misshapen, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some of my, this is called Alpine Huck, just to kind of give it a little bit of another layer of attention. And I might even take some of these out if I don't like them. We'll see how it looks in the end. And lastly, I'm going to open up my magnolia. I'm going to use that for you guys from the beginning. And I'm going to throw in some beautiful magnolia branches. Magnolia will dry or it may turn black on you if you put it outside. But I found that my magnolia over the years has been quite okay. Like, it'll just dry and it doesn't really turn black on me. So I'm not as scared to use it anymore. I used to be more nervous about it. But I find it actually works pretty good. This is a big piece. So for my final look, what I would do is go back and assess if I need more volume anywhere, if I want more greens. I think that for me personally, I would like to see more at the front. So I'm gonna go back and add maybe some fir, just to add a little bit of bulk. I wanna keep still a few pieces of fir for my other planter. And I actually build my two planters at the same time. Like, I won't leave one undone, so that way I can match them in size and span. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a bit more pine in, because I would like that beautiful kind of cascade look at the front. So I shove in a piece of pine here, I'll fill it in. And then what you can do as well is you can add in any ribbons and bows, anything that you would like to decorate it with. So don't forget, you can go all out with Christmas. The time to be as, I don't know what the word is. It's a time to be as outgoing as you want with your decor. And there you go. Pretty much sums it up. I might not keep the birch in, but there you are.